USS Lafayette. Daniel Boone.
Mariano G. Vallejo.
Submersible ship, ballistic, nuclear. Navy's designation for the Fleet Ballistic Missile Submarine. 425 feet long, 33 feet in diameter. Displacement over 8,000 tons. And by the intent of our government, the most powerful seagoing weapon ever built. There are 41 of these remarkable missile-firing ships. 41 for freedom. The building of that fleet stands as a high point in the annals of naval history.
Throughout the world, the SSBN is known simply as Polaris, the fleet ballistic missile firing submarine that gave new meaning to the term sea power. Carrying 16 Polaris missiles, her single purpose, like other deterrent forces on our nation's arsenal, is to be constantly ready to answer the challenge of nuclear aggression. Polaris, however, is unique. Carried at sea aboard the SSBN, which is ever moving, always submerged, hidden, and invulnerable to sneak attack and destruction.
Technologically, the SSBN is the most advanced ship ever built. In addition to her 16 nuclear-tipped ballistic missiles and her atom-fired engines of propulsion, there is crammed within her limited space a computer-coupled inertial navigator that for weeks on end and without benefit of any other navigational reference keeps a precise moment-by-moment log of the ship's position. A host of radar, sonar, and communication equipment to give her eyes, ears, and a voice with which to penetrate the eternal darkness of the ocean's depths. Missile checkout, fire control, and launching systems equal to the most complex Cape Kennedy blockhouse, and a vast array of life support machinery that can maintain for months a comfortable and safe atmosphere completely independent of the outside world.
To build a ship such as this is a highly demanding task, a task requiring an almost unbelievable level of detailed planning and skillful workmanship. Volumes of blueprints pinpoint the locations and detailed specifications for every steel plate, every length of pipe, every nut and bolt.
For forming and fitting, mock-ups provide a complete dimensional presentation of the ship's hundreds of systems and components. Dozens of special jigs and tool fixtures enable custom-made components to be fitted exactly to the shape of odd spaces. The SSBN's thick, armor-tough steel hull is built first in smaller sections, then assembled on the ways to form the long cylindrical pressure hull that will encase all other ship systems and components. With near watchmaker's precision, the hull sections are aligned to within thousandths of an inch. And throughout the assembly operation, this alignment is carefully maintained. Coverings over the building ways provide shade from the sun's heat, which, on a warm day, could cause the entire hull structure to expand unevenly into a slight crescent shape. Also, as the sections are joined, electric strip heaters girdling the hull maintain a uniform temperature and metal expansion around the hull to prevent the development of undesired stresses at the weld joint. Within 18 months from the date of keel laying, around-the-clock work schedule and the carefully coordinated efforts of hundreds of master craftsmen and engineers transform tons of raw materials and pre-assembled subsystems and components into the triumph of technology that is the Fleet Ballistic Missile Submarine. High point of the construction activity is the traditional and colorful launching. The ceremony is attended with a great deal of pageantry, which includes loud and stirring band music, several hundred yards of red, white, and blue bunting, patriotic oratory.
The story of the Polaris fleet is the story of science
and, of course, champagne. For the official record and for the men who will serve aboard this ship during the years of her active duty, this is a special day, a day of dedication that will long be remembered. But in the overall timetable of construction, the launching merely marks that point at which it is no longer practical to continue the work on the building ways. In fact, nearly a third of the critical construction items have yet to be finished. Except for brief periods spent in dry dock, the now properly launched SSBN will complete her construction in the water. For yet another year, an army of workmen, engineers, and her own Navy crew will swarm throughout her labyrinth of passageways and compartments. Their attention to hundreds of minute details will be focused and intensified until, slowly, the confusion of yet-to-be-connected pipes, cables, and racks of electronic circuitry will give way to an orderly arrangement, signaling that the end of construction is near.